What's going on, everybody? I hope you're enjoying your Saturday morning so far. This is NYG Jeffy T85 here, and I'm going to recap yesterday's New York Mets victory over the San Francisco Giants. The Mets have taken the first two games in this series over the San Francisco Giants, and they win yesterday by the final score of 7-0. And honestly, the Mets offense had a pretty good showing last night. They had 13 hits overall. Pete Alonso drove in his league-leading 10th home run yesterday, and he has 23 RBIs on the season. He had 4 RBIs last night. But to be honest, yesterday, the star of this game is Joey Lucchesi, the left-handed starting pitcher who came up from the minor leagues and pretty much is taking the spot of Max Scherzer, who was suspended for the next 10 games due to the substance that was on his hand a couple of days ago. Lucchesi came up from the minor leagues, and the left-handed pitcher was stellar for 7 innings. He had 9 strikeouts, 4 hits, only walked 2, and like I mentioned, he struck out 9 in 7 innings pitched. That's what you call a dominant pitching start by Joey Lucchesi, and a start that the New York Mets badly needed in that game yesterday, last night. And this Mets team is starting to roll now. There's one thing about this Mets team. They are starting to roll now as a baseball team. That's 3 games in a row they have won. 1 against the Dodgers, and now they've won the first 2 games of this 4-game series against the San Francisco Giants. But like I mentioned, Lucchesi was absolutely brilliant last night. Confused the hell out of all those Giants hitters. He went out there. He pitched brilliantly yesterday. The Mets got some good contributions yesterday from guys like Pete Alonso, like I mentioned. Luis Guillorme also had some nice hits out there. He had 2 hits and an RBI for Guillorme. Also, Jeff McNeil had a couple of hits. That's a great sign. He's boosted his batting average over to 288 now. And then you see what Brandon Nimmo is doing at the top of the lineup. Nimmo had 2 hits again, including a run. He only struck out once, but he's hitting absolutely terrific. He's got a 375 hitting average and 489 on-base percentage. So, awesome job by him. I mean, obviously the bottom of the lineup is still struggling. Alvarez and Beatty are still off to pretty slow starts right now with the New York Mets, but your main guys right now are getting key hits on this team when you need them to. Guillorme had that big single to left field in the second inning, which ended up scoring Mark Hanna in that game and drove Beatty over to third base. Jeff McNeil reached an infield single, which was able to score Luis Guillorme on a throwing error by the catcher Bart of the San Francisco Giants. And like I mentioned, Pete Alonso had a 2-run home run in the 5th inning for the New York Mets that made a 4-0 lead. And then he ended up driving in a single, which scored Brandon Nimmo and Francisco Lindor in the top of the 9th inning. And then Vogelbach even got into the fun where he hit a single, which drove in Jeff McNeil and sent Pete Alonso to second base. But this is a good quality win by the New York Mets. And as I mentioned, this Mets team is starting to put things together. I mean, now they're 14-7 on the season. They're slowly creeping up on the Atlanta Braves for the NL East lead. And that's one of the best things you could see, is that the New York Mets are starting to get themselves in position where they're going to be possibly taking over that division. They're only trailing the Braves by a half game right now for the lead in the NL East. Braves are 14-6. Mets are now 14-7 after winning 3 games in a row. And in reality, the Mets have won the last 7 of their 8 games. So they're playing terrific baseball right now. This is the type of baseball that you expected this New York Mets team to go out there and play with the quality of players they have on this team, and they're in the lineup. And you look at the best players on this team right now. Brandon Nimmo is hitting 375, almost 500 on base percentage. Jeff McNeil now is starting to raise his on-base percentage. He's now hitting 288, and he's got 422 on-base percentage. That's getting towards Jeff McNeil numbers. Pete Alonso is hitting .293. He's got a .671 slugging percentage. And like I mentioned, he has hit 10 home runs, which is the first player in Major League Baseball right now this season who has hit 10 home runs, and he's got 23 RBIs. Francisco Lindor, he's hitting about .231, so he needs to boost that average up a little bit. He did have a hit last night, but still, you want to expect more from him. Vogelbach has had a couple of hits last night. He's now boosted his average up to .235. So, Guillorme with a couple of nice hits last night. The Mets defense is starting to pick it up. And even the bullpen. While the bullpen didn't have to do a lot yesterday, Brooks Raley and Tommy Hunter gave up only one hit in 2 innings, and they struck out 3 batters. And with Tommy Hunter closing out the game yesterday, he's also coming back from injury. So the New York Mets are getting contributions up and down that lineup, up and down that pitching staff, and up and down that bullpen. And what is it giving them? Up and down victories. Three games in a row. A Giants team that has not played well so far this season. They are now 6-13, and like I mentioned, the New York Mets are now 14-7, and they trail the Atlanta Braves by just a half a game for the lead in that National League East. Joey Lucchesi came up from the minor leagues, and he gave you exactly what you wanted and what you needed from your starting pitcher in this game yesterday against the Atlanta Braves. Mets win 7-0, convincing blowout shutout victory yesterday. And now the Mets get ready for their third of 4 games today. And it's going to be David Peterson back on the mound. And Peterson hopefully is going to pitch a lot better than he did in his last game. But either way, Mets win yesterday 7-0. If you like this video, hit the like button below and give a sub to NYGJeffyT85. More news updates and chatter surrounding the New York Mets and game recaps. Turn on the bell for notifications. The next video is short dropping on the channel surrounding the New York Mets. And you guys let me know in the comment section what you thought about yesterday's New York Mets victory over the San Francisco Giants and your state of the Mets as the Mets get ready for the third of 4 games tonight against the San Francisco Giants with David Peterson on the mound, another left-hander. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Take it easy, and let's go New York Mets. As always, all you got to do is you got to believe in those boys from Queens.